got like a minute before this meeting starts. I've got to update my Twitter. Oh shoot, and I got to do Facebook. Oh, and I have that appointment with that client. I need to make sure I email them, but I've got to do that Snapchat picture. I promised. Oh my gosh.
Excuse me, are you on social media?
I'm trying.
Listen, there's hundreds of social media platforms out there for the small business owner. The fact is you can get overwhelmed very easy.
Yes.
Let me help you through some of the quick myths and tips to get you started.
That sounds great. So what exactly is social media? I mean, I've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I know there's a whole bunch of others. I'm not sure where to start.
Social media is simply a website that's cloud-based that allows for you to have conversation. What better place for you to be on your business than to talking to your existing customers and your potential customers? The problem is, if you try to do them all, you will fail miserably. So let's talk about a little bit about your business. What is it that you do?
I am a professional, believe it or not, organizer. I can go in and help people organize their homes, their offices. Doesn't look like it from here, but that's what I do.
So you sell a service, and that can be really, really hard to sell because essentially it's an invisible product until it's done. But the beauty of social media is you can show what you do from initial meeting all the way to finished product. The problem is it might be hard to determine where exactly you need to be on social media.
So which social media site should I be on? I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Vine.
Whoa, 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 whoa. One of the biggest myths about social media is that you need to have your business represented on all of the platforms. What you really need is to pick the top 3 that make sense for your business, because it's better to have 3 and do them well than to have 10 that you do just so-so. So let's talk a little bit about where you need to be.
Most of my clients are women. They're small business owners, homeowners, have home offices, that type of clientele.
Then there are particular channels that you need to be on. So let me tell you a little bit about the social media platforms and who the demographics are. First and foremost is Facebook. Pretty much everybody knows what Facebook is, and pretty much everyone's on it. Men are on it, women are on it, young, old, and in between. Facebook is essential for any small business regardless of what your product or service is. People are searching for services and products on Facebook as much as they're doing a Google search for. So if you think about that, it's as important as having a website. Hands down, no matter what you're doing, Facebook is one of the top 3 you need to be on. Pinterest is another one that you need to be on. It's predominantly women, mostly homeowners, people who are looking to freshen up the look of their home or engage in a great lifestyle. That's certainly where you need to be. The wonderful thing about Pinterest, it's highly valued by Google. So when people Google organizer, if you have a well laid out Pinterest page, you're gonna pop up near the top. So that's someplace you absolutely need to be for your organizing business. Now that third one, it can vary a little bit. People think they need to be on Twitter. Twitter is great for conversations, talking directly back and forth to people. But are you probably gonna be able to leverage a client from Twitter for what your particular service is? Probably not. So is it worth having time there?
Yes, I have found that Twitter is very time consuming, and I'm really not sure even what to say. What do you recommend then for that third platform?
Well, let me ask you, do you work with a lot of businesses helping to get them organized?
Absolutely. That's probably the majority of my clientele.
Then hands down, you need to be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is 100% business based. In fact, it's the only social media platform where you will see every Fortune 500 company. Who's on LinkedIn is who they say they are. If you're dealing with Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, it's likely a PR or marketing firm or social strategist who's running it for that company. But on LinkedIn, it's exactly who they say they are answering your questions. Having your company well represented on LinkedIn will certainly get you some business. LinkedIn, like Pinterest, also has a very high Google value. So when people Google you, LinkedIn will pop. So if that's one place that you can tell people what you do, make sure you tell them.
Okay, so if I use Facebook, Pinterest, and LinkedIn, that will definitely save me time. But I'm never really sure what to put on each of those pages. What is the appropriate content? And how do I get followers?
Content is easier than you think. Most small business owners spend a lot of time hemming and hawing about what do I need to put on social media. They take time writing out these very beautiful written paragraphs. But the fact is, it's just a conversation. If you want to say something about your business on Facebook, say it like we're having a conversation now. Hey, summer's coming up. You want to make sure the garage full of activities for the kids are in good order. Let me help you. Keep it conversational. Pinterest, image driven. I'm sure you have some beautiful pictures of before and afters, which is very important in social media to put on Pinterest, of the disasters you might be walking into, and then what you've been able to do for them. LinkedIn is a little bit more business oriented, so keep it that way. Do you know you can save time for your employees by having a well organized and thought out business office? I can help you with that. Make sure you have that call to action at the end of it. As far as followers, that's the biggest myth there is on social media. It's not about how many followers you have, it's how good are those followers. It's far better to have 50 of the most engaged followers than 5,000 who really aren't talking to you on your page.
You know, one of my concerns is that I'm fairly a private person. I have my own Facebook page and I reach out to my friends in that little group, but I don't want that spilling over into my business. I don't want my private information out there. And I worry about that, the security of what I'm posting. And also, what if somebody says something negative? I mean, I've seen that happen. What do I do?
And those things are valid concerns, but they're also two of the biggest myths, again, we see in social media. The first is the privacy factor. What your page is your page and your company's page is your company page. When you post on your company, it defaults to you posting as your company's name. The two are not intertwined. Although in some of these platforms you have to have a personal page to have a company page, that has nothing to do with what's seen. It is absolutely 100% separate, and the two will not merge unless you choose them to be, which has its benefits and drawbacks as well. As far as negative comments, that can and probably will happen at some point. But the key to managing it effectively is not to immediately take it down. That's just going to give the complainers more fuel for the fire. Address it. Have that conversation with them. I'm so sorry you had this experience. I'm so sorry you've heard this. Let me offer you a discount or a chance for a conversation, or what can we do to help you realize all the good that we do. It can be a brilliant public relations tool that turns somebody who's a little disgruntled into a lifetime customer. And don't forget, it's all about word of mouth. If you make them happy with that response, they're going to tell people, hey, they stood up and did the right thing.
That does help too. So if I am the business owner, though, who do I follow? Should I be following anybody myself?
Well, it depends on the type of business, but for the most part, yes. Engagement isn't just one-sided. As much as you want people to comment and post on your page, it looks good for you to acknowledge the good things happening on other people's pages. So you're an organizer. It makes sense for you to follow, say, the Container Store. I'm sure you use their products on a daily basis for your clients. It might also make sense for you to follow the local hardware store. That can be a really great collaborative effort. You're organizing business along with the local hardware store, creating a 20% discount on shelving, and then you're going to tell them exactly where and how to use that shelving for maximum efficiency. So think about who are the services that you use for your company, who are the people you collaborate with, and who are the people that you just plain like their work. It's okay to like those pages, and you should.
Well, thank you for all your help. I think I've got it. I'm going to get to work on this.
Well, I know it's exciting and it can be great for your business, but no business should be launching anything on social media until they have some best practices in place. One of the first things you should do is dedicate a separate email to all of your social media. Otherwise, it's just going to plug up the things that are most important to you. You don't want to be missing client contracts and proposal requests because you're constantly being fed what's going on social media. So set up a separate email. I always just say get something free from Gmail, your company, socialmedia@gmail.com. You can keep that at a separate window a couple times a day, look over it and see what's going on, who's talking to you, God forbid if anyone's complaining about you, or what you might see as a potential marketing opportunity on social media. You also want to make sure that you're the owner of the pages. Even if someone else set them up, make sure that you are a full manager or administrator of that page so that you can take down other page administrators if they should leave. The The last thing you want is for somebody to leave your company, go work for a competitor, and yet they still have control of your social media. So many people forget about this very important step.
Well, that brings up a good point. I do have 2 employees. Up until now, I've been trying to do the social media on my own.
It can be a good thing to have them create content for your page. It's a different voice. It's a different perspective selling to your potential customers. So it can make that engagement and that conversation all that more interesting. The thing you need to do before you make anyone an administrator is have a written policy in place at your company. The policy needs to state what you expect of them. After all, they're your brand ambassador. They're speaking on your behalf, so they need to represent that well. You also need to make sure that they have some sort of recourse should they decide to just go their own way and do something a little wacky that doesn't necessarily fit within the ethics of your company. So have that written out. It doesn't need to be anything fancy unless you're a company who's dealing with compliance issues like banking, the legal field. In that case, you probably want to seek out the advice of an attorney, an employment law attorney who can include that in your employee handbook. I think you're good to go. You have the basics underhand. Don't overthink social media. It's meant to be fun, so make it fun for your business as well. The one thing I want to remind you is that even the most established platforms are notorious for changing the way things are done. So be sure to follow them in your news feeds and follow their blog posts. They'll be sure to let you know whenever they decide to change a layout or something, or the way something works.
You have been a lifesaver. I feel less overwhelmed, but at the same time, it's a lot of information, and I feel like there's probably more. Where can I get more information like you have? I mean, I need to hire you.
Well, one of the best places you can get information is at your local community college. Take, for instance, Germanna Community College Center for Workforce Development. They offer a Get Social series that covers all of the platforms that you could possibly need. The instructor will help give you one-on-one information that's really pertinent to your business and your business alone. So check them out. If you want more information on the Get Social series at Germanna, visit the website at germanna.edu/workforce.